exchanging glances, wandering in the night.
And with that, everybody, I'm Pumpkin Jack, and I'm coming out of the ghastly Hallows, accompanied with...
Hey, it's Red!
And Bolt's coming in.
And in today's subject, we're kind of slacking on Halloween this year, but this one is essentially we're talking about Flesheater. Every week I realize I find myself talking about something else that this thing reminds me of, but yeah, I know. This time we're talking about Flesheater. The film that was made, the zombie movie that was made with a direct middle finger to the law and middle finger to George A. Romero himself. Hi, H. Sinner. Finally caught you on the chat on time on this one today. So yeah, Flesheater, a.k.a. Zombie Nosh, a.k.a. Revenge of the Living Dead, a.k.a. It has a lot of AKAs because it was a movie that was illegally fucking made. It was not supposed to be made. This guy made it against everybody's wishes. I can't find the AKA.
Is it literally that it having many titles meant that he could release it under many titles, so it was harder for the law to find?
That's actually part of it. Yeah, that's why they do that. They'll rename movies that have trademarks and shit, and you're not allowed to use that, so they change the names. For example, for example, right? I'll give you a weird one. Night of the Living Dead. No. Dawn of the Dead. The 1978 one, right? In the mall. If you go to Italy, it is not known as Night of the Living Dead. Dawn of the Dead. It is called Zombie. Z-O-M-B-I. And in all of Europe, it is just Zombie. Z-O-M-B-I. And the music and the time running is all different than the American one cut by Romero and Russo. Just Romero. Russo sold the rights. So, the term Living Dead, right, is owned by Romero and John Russo. Those are the guys that own the term Living Dead. That's why, to my understanding, when Return of the Living Dead came out, a lot of people thought it was a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, but it's not. Romero got regular Dead. John Russo walked away with Living Dead. You're not supposed to use the term Living Dead. Enter Bill Hintzman, who's been wanting to relive his glory days when he was the first zombie, because that's a credit no one will ever take from him. He was the first person to walk on screen and be a zombie in an actual movie, right? Like, he's the first one.
That sounds like some sort of Discovery Channel anthropology documentary. The first zombie.
Oh yeah, he was. He was the first. Yeah. Buckle up, it gets fucking
Who
stupid.
was the first zombie?
The first zombie was some poor guy in ancient Haiti who drank something and was forced to work in a slave farm in the 60s. That is also a true story. I'll get into that another day. But anyways, this fucking guy decides, I want to relive my glory days. Hey, George, you're remaking Night of the Living Dead? Well, I think I want to be the zombie. George Romero goes, no. Different guy's directing it, not me. He's directing it so we can finally make some money on this thing. We took a bath on that back in the 60s. We gotta do something with it. Go talk to him. Tom Savini goes, well, yeah, I'm changing a few things, but that doesn't mean making you some kind of villain. So, yeah. I thought I'd have more of a role. No. You know what? I can make a better movie I wrote something, and why don't we just use my script? Romero, Russo, Savini. No, fuck you. Because John Russo was just an angry person all the time. I know some people on TikTok who were scorned by John Russo personally. So what happens? This guy turns around and says, fuck me, fuck you. Turns around, grabs his script, walks out. And fuck permits. Fuck using permits and filming in public locations without any regard for the law whatsoever. Aside from that, fuck the tasteful nudity and having a purpose to the amount of sex in a movie, and it not being creepy that I'm supposed to just be a zombie killing people, not groping naked younger women that are at least a quarter of my age. Fuck all of that. It is time for me to make my movie, my work of art. And then he shot Flesheater in, like, I think, 3-4 weeks or something like that on the fall. What's funny is that a lot of what I'm telling you right now is stuff that you have to hear on the con circuit. Because, like, if you go to Wikipedia, that shit is all blacked out. You go watch the DVD for, DVDs for the Night of the Living Dead, Night 90. They just go like, yeah, Bill Hintzman was approached and then he had other ideas. And they cut it out. So you have to go, like, on... The way I found out about this movie was TikTok and a few other people dumped it in my lap. And then it turned out that I had seen it as a kid. My dad's like, yeah, I showed you this a long, long, long time ago. I'm like, how long ago, Dad? Possibly 1996, 97, whenever the hell we moved to New York. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, we found it in one of the dingier mom and pop owned video stores. That was it. Like, really? He's like, yeah, that was it. And that was it. Like, we never... It was over. Like, we found it, and then he's like, yeah, it sucked. We never rented it again. That was the end of that. So, that's the story of Flesheater. Fuck everybody. I'm going to film my movie, and once it's out there, there's nothing you can do about it. And that was pretty much how this movie got made. With a bit of gumption, apparently some borrowed film equipment that he never paid for.
Quote unquote borrowed.
Yep.
And a whole lot of balls.
A whole lot of balls.
That's everything it took to make this movie.
It takes it takes a brave man to disregard copyright laws. It also takes a bolder man to turn around and put a bunch of naked women in a movie without any purpose or reason to it. Takes a man to accidentally shoot porno without realizing that he's porno. He's very bold in doing that. Is bold the term I'm looking for, or is it stupid? Which one am I looking
stupid.
for?
It's not bold. It's stupid. Let's be real. It doesn't take much intelligence to do
See, boldness is when you do something that you know isn't very smart, but it might be worth it, so you do it anyway. Stupidity is when you do something stupid, but you don't know that it's stupid.
I have a feeling it was a bit of both. This was a boldly stupid film. This guy thought he was fighting the system when he made this piece of shit.
I think you were just horny. I would replace balls with horny. Because that is the only reason why majority of what happens in this movie happens. Because
scenes were there in this zombie movie?
The only reason that he's not getting seriously Me Too'd, if he's still alive, is he still alive?
No, he died, I think, around... It's ironic. The first zombie died in the pandemic. And that's
really? Well, Me Too was before that.
So he never got it.
The only reason he was not seriously Me Too'd is because the movie sucks.
Yeah, I think those actresses prefer not to be known.
We three are the only people that have seen this movie. And your father.
There might be a couple more.
I've made a point of passing the film around over the years. It's on Tubi now.
Why do you want people to suffer?
Because I suffered too.
And normally I would support that, but for this film I can't. In good conscience, this was painful.
That's too funny though. Do you remember the first time they opened the fucking zombie coffin where he's in and it's just like some weird stone that says "Be weary," and then the guy still opens it and gets bit for no reason?
Yeah, I was like, okay, so you dig up a coffin. What would you do if you accidentally dug up a coffin? Would you immediately open it?
Well, here's the thing. He didn't immediately open it. He read through the whole instructions and then disregarded it and then opened the thing. I'm just like, how? If you're going to just disregard the message that you decided to dust off and clean and read out loud to no one, Why would
He's
you
reading it to the audience?
No, there's no audience. There's no audience. Don't you lie. Don't you dare lie.
There was an audience. It was you and I and Brad
No.
here.
I was not an audience. I was active.
He knew this day would come. Now, you've never read anything out loud to yourself when you're alone?
I do it all the time. I sound like a mental patient. It makes people leave me alone, and that's why.
I do that when I open bills. I'm like $500. So what I was going to suggest, running up to this podcast, was that we may want to open our podcast with a summary, a very brief summary of the film, so that people that haven't seen it or people that saw it a while ago can be kind of up to date on where we're going with everything. But this is a horrible movie to test that out with because there's no plot. There's nothing to summarize.
Actually, it does get a little. It is actually the easiest film to summarize.
But it's not even easy to summarize because there's nothing to summarize. There are zombies, they're killing people, and that's it. That's it. That's the whole thing.
There's also people fucking in the woods. And then there's
no, they're not even. They're attempting to. They don't even get to the point too. They get blocked.
And then there's a zombie guy who's just out there being a zombie guy because fuck George Romero. I'm gonna make my movie and teach you a lesson.
They commit crimes in the process.
With the sex scenes in this movie, it really kind of it reminded me that the line between pornography and not pornography is quite quite transparent because I don't know, that seemed like porn to me. I don't know.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I'm like, this is porn, right? This has to be porn.
I think as soon as there is mouth to breast, you have porn.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like, okay, like usually when you see mouth to breast in movies, right, like you kind of see it from the POV behind the head. But out here, like, you actually saw that dude like noshing on them titties. You're like, whoa, oh shit, this guy's actually going for it.
And like, funny enough, before seeing this film, I had a talk with my manager, because I brought up our podcast, and it was like, I don't know how this happened, but he just brought up the fact like, oh, porn and horror are just more virtually the same if you think about it. I'm just like,
no, they're not.
It's hard to denounce that.
But when you get movies like this, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then this happens, and I'm just like, I owe this man the biggest accolades and probably an apology on some level. I don't know why.
You know what the worst part? So you had a Homer Simpson moment in front of you. My dad is not some food crazed maniac, and then she looks out the door, and there it is, Homer driving an ice cream truck. Ooh, raspberries. Flesheaters out here ruin everybody's day.
Oh man.
Oh my
God. I'm tempted to recommend that for people who don't know horror, just to kind of set a terrible precedent and then see what happens from there. Like a thought experiment. Like,
I don't know why though. I had fun watching this stupid piece of shit when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like let's just start with the first round of idiocy, right? The guy opens up the tomb, gets bit, and then he walks around for a little bit. Now, I lived in Pennsylvania as a kid. This was filmed up in Beavers Falls. So that's like, to my understanding, like a mile or two outside of Pittsburgh, Beavers Falls. Do you guys know where that is, Beavers Falls? I remember somebody mentioned it once.
My mother actually lives in a neighboring town.
Oh.
She lives in Beaver.
Oh man!
So I actually missed your message about where it takes place, and they were saying Beaver County, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, I'm sure there's many Beaver counties in the United States. Surely it can't be that Beaver County. But then it's like, well, okay, that it looks like Pennsylvania, okay, and then when I finally realized that it was taking place in Pennsylvania is actually towards the end, where it's the two zombie hunters that are about to sweep this house, and the one guy says, "You could go around. I'm gonna check out the Haas." Now that is a hallmark of the Pittsburgh accent. You don't say Haas, or you don't say house, you say Haas. You don't dry off with a towel, you dry off with a towel.
Yeah, get the towel out in the house in there.
Okay.
We're going out to the lake. It's a towel in the house over there. It's on. If you anything, go check out the hatch by the roof. It should be there.
All right.
It should be there.
So Red. All right. What I'm hearing is this movie has a Pennsylvania Easter egg, or Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when I saw it, didn't there like a sign that says Beavers Falls or some shit when they're in the barn? Like I could have sworn in the background I saw a sign that says PA or something like that in the background.
Well, you said it was shot in Beaver Falls.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Well, next time I go visit my mother, I can go on a Flesheater tour.
Do you really want to do that? I feel like the people in that town want to forget that this thing ever happened.
You're gonna hurt yourself and them by breaking up that movie. Don't do it.
I'm gonna keep them from forgetting. Never forget. I will be the one that bears this torch. Never forget. Flesheater.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
see, I'm not the only troll around here. That's it. That's reminding those poor people of the trauma that they're probably getting old enough to be like, finally, we can forget. Hey, I want to know some parts of Flesheater, and everybody in the bar looks at you like an American Werewolf in London. Like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you?
Right, yeah.
Oh my God.
No, that could actually be a good trollish thing. We can post them online.
You know what? I volunteered to do that. I'll be the guy who gets mauled by the werewolf in that movie in that sequence.
Oh my goodness!
Just stay away from the Moors.
And then that's the first thing they went to go do, get near the Moors.
Yeah.
That was a great movie too. So back to this one. So I guess like in the 80s, it was romantic to just go out into the middle of a cornfield with fire, and it was pretty fucking cold too. It did not look warm in that time that movie was being filmed.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty cool and romantic to just go sit there all night without any blankets, anything, just get drunk, and then somehow wait for the hay truck to pick you up in the. What the hell were these kids doing?
They were smoking, drinking, and dancing. And if you were a girl, you were doing those three things while also exposing yourself to said significant other.
See, it's not quite camping, but it's not quite partying. I don't know what they're doing. Like,
right? Yeah, I was confused by this. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, I don't understand.
There has to be a word for it. Maybe there was a 1988 word for it.
I mean, it was a party, right? They had music, they were dancing, they were doing things you would do at a party, but just outdoors in the middle of Pennsylvania forest by a dead zombie's graveyard. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to think too much because it just hurts. So I do.
Yeah, you fuck up. If you think too hard, you fuck up.
I like your I like your redundancy of dead zombie. Anyway, so okay, let's start like at the very beginning, and I mean like the very beginning. We have the opening credits, and then we have the animated zombie, like the animated fleshy eater guy. That was my favorite part of the movie. I liked that animation. I thought that was well done. It looked like it was rotoscoped.
You know more about that than I do. That does look. That was a pretty cool effect. That's why I assume that's where all the budget went.
Yeah. Okay, but after that relatively good opening part, you have the scene where they're coming through the woods on the hayride, and this helped me realize why there is an Oscar for best sound editing. because the sound was horrible. The sound was so bad. It was like it was like the mics were too close, and they didn't even turn the volume down, and everybody's talking over each other. It's just it was horrible, and you just see it's just like it was like disorienting, but not effectively disorienting. It was horrible. So when you realize what helps you realize when something is done well is when you see it done poorly.
Yes.
So good editing, both for sound and for footage, is something is well edited when you don't notice the editing. When you notice the editing, that's when you know it's bad. Yep. It wasn't just the sound editing. It was also the footage editing. Like there were scenes where it was obvious that like it had been cut too long. Like
all the sex scenes.
Like when one scene would cut to another, like someone would say, "Hey, do you believe in zombies?" And it would cut, and there would be like this pause that was obviously not intentional. And it's like, yeah, I believe in zombies.
But you're lying, dumbass.
Oh man, but the sound was painful. I think at one point it was kind of nauseating.
What about the acting?
You know what? The acting is slightly better than the sound.
Well, really?
Like
that first couple was you really believe that first couple was into each other when they start? Like they shouldn't have said anything. If they wouldn't have spoken, all right, yeah, these two are into each other. Until like, no, wait a minute. I just want to let you know, I'm not that kind of girl, she says as her boobies are out. I'm not that kind of girl. I really, really want you to respect me and like me for who I am. I'm like, why are you having this conversation? Well, it looks like it's fucking 40 degrees outside. You're in this barn in your bra, lady. Like, okay, fine. He's going to say he respects you to keep going. Like, I'd say that. We'd all say it. Yeah, shit. Yeah, I respect you, man. Keep going. Like, why not?
Okay, so the best acting in that scene was the kissing. And I mean, I don't know if it takes much acting to actually like, make out. It's just like make out. Everybody knows how to make out, right? Well,
are you sure about that?
If you were to tell me to make out with someone I don't want to make out with, it's going to take a lot of effort to really sell the making out.
Anyway, but that actually also relates to another point I have about sound. Why was the kissing so loud? Again, like the close miking. The close miking of inappropriate things. It was sort of like in a regular movie, maybe you hear like one little sweet little smack like here and there just to show you that, like something tender is happening. But with here, it was like
a fucking porn. It was like a porn. You hear everything. You heard the whole thing.
But for that scene in particular, like the sound cut at weird moments, and it just takes you out. I'm just like, I'm already not into this, and now you're somehow managing to take me out of something that I wasn't even in the first place. How is this possible? The sound was just atrocious. It was, oh man, I was glad when the zombie showed up. I'm like, thank the Lord, this murderous zombie is here to save me.
Zombies to the rescue. Never thought I'd hear someone say that.
This one, yeah, we kind of every time the zombie shows up, he busts up some really, really awkwardly long sex scene. It's like,
yes, but
there's even more. Yeah. Like it's just the nudity in this movie was just like, it's a zombie movie. When the hell did we need that much nudity in a zombie movie?
So the way that scene is broken up is with the main zombie, who is named Flesheater, apparently.
That's he has a name?
Closing credits, his name is Flesheater.
He has a name. That's adorable.
Isn't that sweet?
Aww.
So the way I think it's that first scene. The way that's broken up is Flesheater comes in, and the guy tries to ward him off with the pitchfork, but the Flesheater gets the pitchfork away from him, and then stabs the guy with the pitchfork. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. tool-using zombies, intelligent zombies that can manipulate their environment to their ends. Usually in zombie movies, it's just like they're walking and they bite whatever is living that they can get their hands on. But this zombie is actually like, looking around, trying to figure out, okay, how do I kill this guy? It was sort of like, okay, this is kind of an
and that would be all well and good if they didn't have super strength to barely backhand the same person that he uses to like the pitchfork to kill him in like a few seconds, but he really backhanded him, which he kind of missed, by the way, into the bale of hay, which look from the sound effect you would think he got like knocked into like a cinder block, but nope, it's just hay, and he just my god,
some mighty tightly packed hay.
Oh, man. It was definitely uncomfortable for any of the sex scenes, and it's like, oh, this is bad for my back. You stay on the same. I was like, why is this here?
Bill Hintzman as a zombie did use weapons in Night of the Living Dead. He picked up the brick and tried to hit Barbara's car.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, he did believe in it. The problem is that he's just not. It's not a thing that people liked enough to want to keep in those films. Like, of all the things you're gonna fight to do that zombies were doing before, that was just not the thing to fight to keep in. Yes, our zombies must have. What do you call it? They must have weapons ability to use, and it's like, nah, they didn't. We could have gone without that just fine. We didn't need that. But oh my god. That scene was cringe as shit, and we haven't even moved into when they get to the house and the friends start killing one another.
Oh, not friends, just the one guy basically doomed everyone except for the couple that was staged ironically.
See, I thought that once they all get into the farmhouse, they seemed to realize that they were in a zombie movie too quickly. Because they start doing all the things you do when you're in a zombie movie. You start boarding up the walls. It seems like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would start to do that just yet, unless I like somehow realized that these were the living dead that could not be stopped any other way.
Let's bring up the checklist.
And then, interestingly, later in the movie, with that at the Halloween party. And they're trying to tell everybody, hey, there's zombies out there. The guy who's running the party says, oh, seems like you've seen one too many zombie flicks. And I'm like, oh, this is a zombie movie where there are zombie movies. So this is something they've watched in movies before. Typically, in a zombie movie, you assume that there is no such thing as a zombie movie.
Yep, that's how it goes.
This is like the first time that people are learning about this whole concept of the dead rising.
Yep, and then that's when they're supposed to start arguing one another. We don't use the Z word. Why not? Because it's ridiculous. Love that movie.
The Z word.
Love that movie still. But then, we get into the situation, right? Like, these guys they start boarding up the house, and then what I liked was that the other guy knew to just go grab a shotgun and go for it. He's like, all right, we're now going to not let them in because they could be like this. Yeah, I'm like, what's wrong with you, brother? Like, you left your friends out in the dead. You have a gun. Like, you could have defended yourself and defended them. What the hell's wrong with you?
And then, no, I'm going to leave you to die, and not going to tell anyone about it. And then they figure it out immediately anyway. It's like, we heard you yelling at someone. You're not yelling at no one. Did you just let people out there to die?
Yeah.
It's got away from you.
The hell's wrong with you, Ted? What the hell?
That was by far the most funniest interaction in that film. One of the most.
Oh, that was nothing. Every other it just got funnier for me as it kept going along.
But to the point of this not being a normal zombie, this Flesheater character, he cuts the phone lines when they're trying to.
What is this?
They're trying to call 911. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. This isn't some ordinary zombie. This is like a combination of a zombie movie and a slasher movie.
Yep. He knows to cut the lines, and then he knows to sneak in through the window and deflect the gunshot. He's like the invisible zombie.
How to dodge bullets? That like what movie are we watching here? Because what zombie who has been dead for who knows how long knows what the concept of what a phone line is,
and a gun.
How it works, and a gun.
Because he knew to grab the barrel, right? And then, like, push the barrel out of the way as the shot went off. I'm like, you? What? No.
Now, see, I want to know. If the phrase, it's like a bicycle, riding a bicycle, you never forget, is true, I want to know if a zombie that knew how to ride a bike in life could ride a bike in zombiehood.
So in the
but he never rode theoretical bike though.
The 1978 Dawn of the Dead, they mentioned Day of the Dead. They mentioned that one of them tried to drive a car. Like the guy got killed in a car, and he was trying to drive a car. The scientist said, and he's like, "Yeah, it didn't make me want to be its friend. It made me want to get away, walk away from it." So it wouldn't work. But back to this piece of crap. As we go through this, we got more bites of the shit sandwich to take, fellas. Let's just keep going. We will be saved by random scenes of very pretty women with titties and taking a random shower that was absolutely but not necessary at all.
I don't think that's enough to save it. I don't think that's enough to save this film. Like, I think this is one of the very few instances where sex doesn't save a product.
No, it just makes you question.
It may have made it worse.
Makes you question what decision brought you to sitting down this couch watching this movie.
Oh my goodness! That was basically last night. As I'm trying to tell my friend, "Oh, this is what I'm watching. This we're discussing. How is it? I hate
it." So that scene, the unnecessary shower scene, and I agree, it's completely unnecessary.
Yep.
Right before that, you have the scene with the 911 dispatcher, where she got the call from the kids a few scenes ago, and she thought, well, it's Halloween, like people are going to be trying to play pranks all over the place. But then she thinks, well, better safe than sorry. So she calls one of the officers, and this was a scene where I was like, are there like entire scenes where there was no script, where the director just said, I want you to get from here to here and just say some shit to get from here to here? Because
what would you do in this situation? This is odd.
Yeah, because she was saying, like, there might be some trouble over there. So I think you better go because there might be some trouble over there. It was like either she was blowing the lines and they didn't care, or she was just, or they just told her, say something like this, and she tried, and she did, and she gave it her best shot.
I have a feeling it's the first one. They didn't give a shit. I have a feeling the guy's like, all right, cut. I'm gonna go look at some real titties now to make myself feel better about today.
There is a third option. That those scenes were just so badly written that they didn't even seem like they were written. There are some movies that have a bad script, but you can tell that there was a script. This movie might not have even had a script.
I've seen some shit, right? I used to peruse the horrible fucking trash bin areas of Blockbuster with my brother back in the day, because we had that pass that you could rent unlimited movies for 30 days a month. So, the worst one the one that made me angry that I watched was Ginger Dead Man. Gary Busey was the Ginger Dead Man. Piece of shit movie, but it's out there and it has 4 sequels. Yeah.
See, those movies that are supposed to be bad have no business being actually bad. If you're gonna make like a campy movie, like a campy, intentionally B-grade movie, you have to make it like funny enough and weird enough and outlandish enough to make it worth my time. If it's like, if it's I like good bad movies. I hate bad movies.
Yeah, this was one of those moments where it was a bad movie.
Leprechaun is a perfect example of a good bad movie.
Yeah, Leprechaun. puppet master.
You might disagree, Bolt, but I haven't.
I'm just trying to force back the vomit. That's very.
Hey, look, I know we
building my throat.
remembered what it was Jennifer Aniston was in it. We know it's disgusting. All right, she should have never had a career in the first place. I know, it's gross.
I'm sorry to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
You're right. I'm not. I'm not, and I'll do it again.
Don't worry, it doesn't affect
I'm
you.
not about to do it again.
Fuck Flesheater. It's making us go back to it scarred us so bad it brought us back to certain places. we watched unsuspecting porn.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, yeah, that is the best way to describe this film. Porn. And it is not in a good way, but when people would think it to hear that, you would need an actual shower, not the one that they try to pawn off in this stupid
And
film.
we have cats for some reason.
Not even good for.
Yep, I backed up all the way into the show before it.
I'm going to talk about the art. I mean, well, the costume design and like the art
What
that went into
costume
this.
design? It was him wearing the
Exactly.
same outfit from the fucking movie he was in before, and then everybody just had to wear powder on their face and blood. That was it. The only credit I'm going to give this asswipe that he did was he did a good job with the squibs. Not that great a job because you can still see the flesh helmet on their heads, but at least he tried with the effect. Because when that cop shows up and he shoots the first guy, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I was hit," but he keeps walking. He shoots again in the head. Then the second guy, it was hilarious. There's a delay. He shoots the gun, and then there's a delay where he's like kind of dumbingly staring at the gun. And then you see the squib go off, and then he goes down with his full denim outfit that he was wearing like a weirdo.
Yeah, so on costume design, I like it how in the credits, like even if it's a movie that takes place almost exclusively in an office building, there's still a costume designer, even though everyone is just wearing like clothes. It's sort of like, do you need a designer for people that are just wearing clothes?
So as someone that studied theater,
if it's like Pride and Prejudice or something like that, yeah, like those are costumes, but it's just like,
I know, and trust me, as someone that studied theater, and I did theater in high school, and some people who know us were in this with me. Fucking the smallest stupid costumes, the dumbest ones, are usually the ones that for some reason they like to lie to you and said took the most work to do when it's really just a dude in a suit and tie. One example, somebody was telling me, like, you know what's one of the deepest horror outfits I've ever seen? I'm like, which one? Shaun in Shaun of the Dead. I'm like, what the hell was so deep about that costume? It's a dude in black pants, white shirt, and a red tie with a name tag. But he's always getting red on him until after a while, he's just covered in the scars and traumas of his life that he sheds it by the end. He doesn't shed it by the end. He's just not wearing it in the last scene. But that's what he's trying to make. Go fuck off.
Like over symbolizing everything.
Yeah, like you're just really going for it, dude. Don't be that pretentious. It's like, you know which one I feel had a good costume design? That's a simple movie. Night of the Living Dead 1990, which was the one that this guy made this movie and say fuck you to. So, in that one, you can tell that Ben is a regular office worker. You can tell that Barbara is somebody that was pretty much like oppressed all her life. So now like she has to break free from the chains of oppression to survive. You can tell that Harry Cooper is like a 1%er asshole that is used to doing what he does. And the clothes kind of gives everybody away, right? Like their outfits that they're wearing pretty much tell you, okay, yeah, this is who these people are. Tom Bittner is obviously, like one of those guys that goes out fishing by the lake every day. He's a redneck, which is why he knows how to use a gun. He lives in that area, and he understands, like, oh, yeah, the gas pump and all this shit. It all fits when you look at their outfits, right? But in this movie, none of that matters because it's supposed to be Halloween, which is a crock of an excuse to get away with not really having to dress anyone up right. For example, they crash a Halloween party. There's only really like what 3 or 4 people dressed up in that party because the people that were fucking they weren't dressed up at anything at all.
Yeah.
No, they were dressed up.
The one guy had like a karate outfit on, but the girl was like, I don't know.
Right? The one chick was wearing the tiki outfit or something like that, right? And then she's like,
yeah.
Don't you think you've had enough? You're drunk.
Drunk.
That life made me so hard. I just think you've had enough. You're drunk. Oh, the line was so awful. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go and hang out with these guys.
10 out of 10 boyfriend right there. You gotta love it.
You know what? If that guy were around in today's age, he'd probably ask some of his friends to send him selfies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What goes on in the locker room. That's what probably would happen over there. Just ignore his girlfriend to go hang out with them.
So, I mean, there were some effects that I thought were effective. Now, this is probably because the version on YouTube that I was watching was not very high quality.
It was 380.
A low quality version of a low quality film. How about that? I had the experience.
I mean, you could have gone to Tubi.
In that party scene, the first kill in that scene is where the guy who's drunk wearing the vampire costume gets his upper lip bitten off by the zombie, and so you can see, so you can see like his gums and the teeth coming out of his gums. Like, you know, it was, I don't know, in the slightly pixelated version that I saw, it was effective.
It was effective. Like, I'm not gonna knock the effects on it.
Yeah, and speaking of pretentious interpretations, right before that shot of the ripped off upper lip, you see his vampire teeth fall onto the ground, which is like a kind of like immediate foreshadowing.
Yeah. And then he died.
What do you think of that? Foreshadowing. I used a word.
I think that was.
I can't believe you used the word foreshadowing in regards to this movie. Are you kidding me? There was no foreshadowing of anything.
Oh, there was plenty of foreshadowing. Their whole career
Another
was getting
thing
ready to die.
What's that?
Their careers were getting ready to die.
Oh,
foreshadowing right there.
Yeah.
Some deep conspiracy theory right there.
Whoa, that's like life imitating art, man.
Yeah, man. Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Another thing I didn't think was that bad was the music. I thought the music was actually pretty good.
The one song,
like, you know, it's got a recognizable tune on the piano. Creepy, you know, like well placed. I thought the music was placed in the right parts. You know, that was probably the best part of the movie, honestly.
I mean, it was a decent tune. It was catchy. But I'll tell you what was the best part of that whole thing. Best part of that movie was when they killed them kids again.
Oh my goodness.
What is it with us this week? It's 2 times. This month was like that month. Fucking kids getting killed in Halloween.
Hey, this is the 3rd time in a row.
Oh, wow.
Like, you're doing this on purpose now. Like,
I'm not. I just realized it. Like,
I don't believe
times
you.
are people getting killed on kids are getting killed on these Halloween movies. Don't give a fuck.
It wasn't a
that poor
mask.
little girl.
It was not a mask this time.
No.
By the way, the little girl is the director's daughter.
Yes, I saw that in the credits. Yeah.
Yep.
She got brutally murdered.
See, that actually made me feel a little better about the scene, because when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh no, not the kid! Don't kill a kid, Flesheater! Come on, even Flesheater doesn't have a heart that dark."
And he did, both of them.
Yeah.
One right after the other. I was actually cheering for the little bastard when he was running out with his hobo outfit. I'm like, "Oh no, come on, kid, out the back door! We need one more survivor in this piece of crap." And then, nope.
Oh wait, no, you forgot your candy apple.
Oh my goodness.
Grab it! Oh no, it's stuck! Pull it! Come on!
That took me back
that-
to
That husband in that scene though was just like he just comes home and he just what he comes home to, it's just like, oh my goodness, my daughter is possibly dead naked. Covers the body instantly.
Was she
like,
his
good father.
daughter?
Yes.
I was kind of confused.
The
by
reactions. I was confused as to who that girl was.
that. Yeah,
Because
was that his daughter?
because the mom says to her, I want you to be answering the door until my husband gets home. And it's like, wait, okay, so she's a babysitter, but why is she taking a shower and why does she have like her own room in the house?
Daughter.
Is
Wait a
she
minute,
the,
what?
Daughter.
Is she the mistress? The nanny?
That the wife knows about?
Who knows? I mean, look at what happened with the Warrens. Apparently, they knew he had somebody in his
Yeah,
attic
well,
room.
yeah, it's true. Or maybe maybe the husband is her stepfather, but in that case, like the mother wouldn't say my husband.
Yeah,
if
your
she's
dad.
your
father's
if the guy's
come
her
home.
stepfather. So
I just chalked that up to another line flub. Because
Yeah.
Man, there were so many in this film. I just made my head
Look,
spin.
forget the lines. It was important to get to that long, drawn-out 3 minutes of her showering. We needed to see the bush, because that's what they make a point to accentuate on her in the shower, nude, complete. Then she steps out, poses for the camera naked again, and goes
and I'm
on
like,
about her
oh,
day.
we are in 1988. Okay.
I'm thinking to myself, what is the age of this random person that we don't know why she is in this house? Like, oh wait, zombie. Okay, good. I don't have to think anymore. She's dead.
You know what? I was really sure she was at least above 18. I'm like, I really hope this guy made sure to check. Sometimes I look at pictures of people from back in the day, and they look a lot older, even though they were 18.
There was a time when the rules about that were much looser.
I know.
I think it's I'm not quite sure about this, but I think Jennifer Connelly is topless in Once Upon a Time in America before she was 18.
Let me see. Jennifer Connelly. Entirely for research purposes.
Browser history will be cleared momentarily.
Why would you do this while streaming?
I'm not
Anyway,
going to go look up underage poon. That's not cool. I will just rewatch that boring movie because I've seen it before. Once Upon a... That's the one with Robert De Niro, right?
Yes, Robert De Niro. Yeah,
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's a Jewish gangster movie.
That's
I have
like
to watch it
the
again.
only
It's
Jewish gangster movie, isn't it?
Maybe
Uncut?
the only
Yeah.
one that anyone's heard of.
Oh, Uncut.
Uncut. Yeah, but that took like 30 years in between.
Wait, no, sorry. Uncut Gems. That's what. I don't know why I blanked on the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like 30 years in between, though. Like, it took a while for that one to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, back to the subject. We have to discuss this naked chick that somehow has a long, drawn out shower. Then after her long, drawn out shower, she is then taken to the bed, killed, and then he proceeds to put his mouth on her some more after she's already been killed. Which that's where I was like, ew, now I'm really uncomfortable, dude. At least the other ones had some kind of clothes on. This one's like straight up naked. Like, I need an adult.
Oh man, let's just speed run this because it's like there's really not much substance in this film.
There's not much substance, but I think this is the one film we've all just collectively taken a bat and just kept swinging at because you're gonna hit something.
So,
You hit every frame. You're gonna hit something stupid with this one.
I love how
So,
they were able to
there was-
mobilize the militia randomly towards the end, and it's managed to solve the zombie problem in a matter of minutes.
Well, or has it?
Doo-doo. Yeah, he
Okay,
wanted
they
a
missed
sequel.
one.
What a
Yeah.
douche.
He missed one.
Missed one. Yeah. Well, it only takes one. Yeah. Right.
Oh my God. You know when I saw it the first time, I had a
Patient
Family
Zero.
Guy reaction. I was like, Oh, he survived? What a jackass.
Wait, what was that?
Through a burning house. I'm like, how? You were not even showing the montage of people getting shot up. And it's like, how did you survive being burned alive? He came out unscathed. I'm like, you were in the house that was burning. How did you?
He's like the Michael Myers of zombies. So what was that Family Guy reference?
So the first time I saw this movie, and I'm like, when I see the zombie walk out, Flesheater walk out at the final before the final credits, well, I'm like, oh, he survived. What a jackass! All right, this guy's sequel baiting. What a jackass!
I don't know the Family Guy connection.
It's when they basically like, when you die, they say you saw yourself. They say you saw yourself when you die, and then he did it. What a jackass. I'm like, yeah. Your first movie, you sequel bait. Oh, he actually did it. What a jackass. This zombie should have been killed or something, and then, do the eye opening at the end, not into the camera, moron.
So, I'm glad you mentioned the hunting campaign against the zombies, because there was one part that I thought was genuinely funny. I think it was supposed to be funny. Maybe that doesn't speak well to the scene that I think it's supposed to be funny, right? But I do think it was. It's when you've got three hunters and they're walking through the field, and off to their right they say, "Oh, there's one," and they all shoot at it, and the zombie falls down, and then one says to the other two, "All right, you want to go gut it?" And it's like, wait, they're field dressing the zombies. They're like these are good. I have to say though, that means these are good hunters, because they know the process. They know that you're supposed to gut your kill. You do the whole thing. They're probably going to present it to the game warden or something.
They just learned about these zombies like 5 minutes ago, and I mean, first of all, they have short trooper aim, but then they somehow managed to kill these unkillable zombies that you can hit them with everything under the sun, and they just kind of shrug it off like, yeah, no, I don't feel like dying right now.
First off, they're used to hunting for bigger game. A deer is a lot bigger than a person is. I'm actually going to stick up for them there a bit. It's not that easy to pull up a gun and start shooting people with it, all right? Despite what the internet and movies tell you. Guns
Except
are hard
to
to
little
operate.
Girl. Unless it was one girl.
It's
like, that's my daughter. Headshot.
Actually, I love the way he delivered that line. I can't, that's my daughter, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. And then after she falls, the camera goes back to them, and he just puts his head in his hand. Like, he doesn't like it's just so stupidly understated. Yep. Like, that's not the way a father would react. He would fall to the ground like screaming. He wouldn't just be like, ah, shit. It's
I wonder if he did.
It's like he just found out that he still owes taxes or something. Like, ah, shit.
I wonder if he did, and then they probably went out, "Sir, this is not that kind of movie for you to be putting such effort in. You'll get him on the next one." There was no next one. Oh, man, this is so bad. Oh, man. This was one of those words. And it's on Halloween.
It is the Halloween movie, so we're staying on theme. That's good.
Oh, we did. We're staying on theme, all right. Samhain was when they sacrificed a bunch of kids.
The one thing, the other thing that I liked about the very beginning was that they were on a hayride. And when I was a kid, I loved hayrides. That was one of my favorite things to do during the fall as a kid.
Oh, yeah, no, me too.
I was just like, they're doing it right. They're doing something right with this movie.
They took you apple picking at school. They took you through the hay barn rides and stuff. You got to see a big pumpkin and all that good stuff. That was all cool. I used to like doing all that.
That sort of thing, and I'm discovering, having moved to Colorado, that sort of like fall fest culture with the apple stands and the hay rides and the corn mazes, that really is sort of an eastern part of the country thing because it's very rare out here. There's really not a culture around here, so it's something that I really miss about the eastern part of the country.
Yeah, that's an East Coast thing. That's a New England thing. I don't really see it anywhere else. A friend of mine, she was living out in like by the Illinois area, and she's like, we don't really do that shit here. I'm like, what do you guys do? Bob for apples and drink. Like, really? Yeah, like once you pass the trick or treating age, you just bob for apples and drink, and that's about it. That's all you do. There's nothing else to do out here. Like.
Life comes in two stages.
Yes,
there's trick or treating, and then there's bobbing for apples and drinking.
Pretty much. And then she's like, you just start bobbing for other things. I'm like, okay. And this conversation has moved where I don't want it to go. That's what the women in this movie were doing, all right? They were bobbing, all right?
Oh.
And you know what the worst part about it is that it happens twice. Because isn't that other lady, too, in the red skirt, black shirt, in the house party? They open up her chest, too, and that guy's going nuts. I'm like, okay, we're doing this again. 2 times in a row. But doesn't that count as stimulation after a while? Because, like, he is kind of doing the move. Like, he is noshing on him. Like, what, dude?
Yeah. No, see, that was the part where I'm like, might be in pornography territory.
Yeah.
I mean, it picked up the stimulation noises. I'm just like, okay, all right. Okay, someone needs to tell this guy how movie ratings work and the criteria.
Yeah.
I actually have one question for you, Bolt. Where did you watch this?
YouTube.
No, where? Where were you?
In the comfort of my own bedroom, because I was not going to watch this at work on my lunch break. Heavens no. Heavens no.
I was wondering.
Not even on the train ride.
Where did you watch this one?
Oh yeah, I watched it on my work computer. I was logged into the VPN.
The thing is a lie, by the way.
Oh my god! No, I know what's worse about it. I watched it at home, and Crystal walks in when the chest thing pops up, and she's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "It's a horror movie." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Actually, I said, "I need your critique. Come and sit with me for a few seconds as this is going on." As it's going on, she made the most sound observation I think I've heard with this fucking movie. She goes, "This is a porn." Like, right? She's like, "This is just straight up porn." She's like, "I don't know this medium like you do, but isn't the sex supposed to be he opens his shirt and then spliced to the monster walking? And then maybe they're making out a little bit with the bra open, but the monster is getting close to the house. And then, like, as they go back for the makeout, then there's a payoff, isn't there?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "These people have been making out for like almost 2 minutes now, and they haven't shown anything about the monster."
Yes, there were like scenes that were way too long, and like that actually is a really good observation. Yeah, it wasn't like cutting to the monster then back. There was no purpose of tension building, like there is in Halloween. Halloween uses those sex scenes very well.
Actually, Halloween was the perfect example because when they're making out, right, you kind of see Michael in the background in the hallway or whatever, and then like they cut the clip and he's gone, but he's watching them through the window. He's watching them out. He's stalking them. In this one, it's just like when he finally shows up, it's and then next thing you know, he kills one of them, and then we're done. This is it. But we move again to the same thing. We watch this movie repeat itself 3 or 4 times in a row, right? Because that couple
That's
runs.
what I was saying when I said at the beginning that there's no plot. It just the same thing happens in every scene. It's just like...
Yes. And then the couple gets shot in the end. That guy and his glorious ass 80s mullet and that lady, they both just get shot in the end unceremoniously.
That was
Yeah,
stupid.
and it's a direct rip from Night of the Living Dead.
It was, because he didn't.
Except it's two people.
Yeah, two people. That's to show you this is the true sequel. Two people get wasted at the end of my movie in a very unceremonious, idiotic way. Piece of shit.
Oh my goodness! Like they get killed by the most incompetent, competent hunters I've seen in any form of media. I'm just like, I'm glad it's over.
The best part was that was the best acting in the whole movie, where he shouts out her name. He's like, "No!" and they shoot him.
Yeah,
because they couldn't hear him yell. Did they talk? I don't know. Doesn't matter now, does it? Which I think is what must happen out there. Like, it don't matter now.
So that the best acting was from that guy and girl. That were the ones that were, and I mean that's probably because that's probably why they got those roles, because they were the best actors in the whole movie.
Yeah, they had the most time, and I'll be honest with you, there are a few scenes in this movie that do stick out to me, which I'm like, you know what, that could happen in a zombie apocalypse. For example, the farmer who goes to feed, like, give the water to the cows or whatever, and then he finds them hanging out in there. And then he goes into the house. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, the scenery's nice. It's very eerie. It's like a nice, innocent farmhouse that gets raided in the middle of the night by the zombies. Cool. Do I think all of these people would have died heroically sacrificial this way? No. No, they wouldn't have. I'm pretty sure, like, all right, guys, get the hell up out of here. Everybody, let's go. As he shot maybe one or two on the way out. A lot of those guys seem like they're waiting for this to happen, which is why they have all those guns. But, you know, for some reason, everybody in this movie is incompetent with a gun. Am I the only one that realized that? Even the only one who knew what he was doing with the gun was the cop. And he didn't know to check his sides. I don't know how the hell you can't notice people are walking up to you as you fire 2 rounds to look left and right.
It's in your training.
These things are trying to kill my ass. He's in the car. Somebody send them back up out here. These things are trying to kill my ass.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Oh, this movie was. It made no sense. Oh jeez.
You know what the best part about it is? Somewhere out there, Jay Sherman is listening to me going, "This isn't America's funniest home video."
Oh, it is most certainly not.
But it was America's funniest movie in 1988.
Unintentionally, yeah.
Oh my god, I love this movie. I watch it every year. It's so bad it's good go-to film. Do you guys have any opinions on it?
I just can't wait to kind of just wrap up and just put this in the vault of things to never talk about again, never watch.
Oh, we are. This is the bellwether for a bad fucking movie on this show. Don't tell me it's not, unless you want to go watch Axum.
You know what?
The movie may not have been fun to watch, but it's been fun to talk about.
Oh, it was fun to watch for me. It was stupid.
Oh, man.
I had a lot of fun watching this piece of crap. You did too. You're all laughing too.
I'm shaking my head and my neck is hurting. Like,
well, then you need to stop shaking it side to side, Bolt, because you're not going to have any WD-40 to fix things. You got to shake it up and down as a yes, this is funny. See?
I broke it while watching this movie. After it was just like I kept shaking my head up and down. It's like no, it was wrong. So then my neck broke. I don't know. I need to order WD-40 again. This movie just did
Here will be my solution to cleanse the palate of this one. When we come back, because we're going to go through a series of stuff next week and the week after that, we will watch a good film. Okay? It's a good one. Do you both have any suggestions for a potentially good one?
For next week?
In general, because next week they're going to make an honest man out of me.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So, We're probably going to be getting drunk around here, so unless you want to hear me come onto the stream and be very drunk and belligerent, no one likes it when I do that.
I think.
I mean,
I think the good people of America would like to hear that.
They should tune in to when I go live on. You know what? That could be fun one day. I'm just gonna go on Dead by Daylight, and you guys are gonna watch me be drunk and pissed off on Dead by Daylight. And this time I don't have a troll heckling me to be drunk on Dead by Daylight, so we should see how that goes. But see, we'll cleanse our palate. We can do something decent. We can either watch The Exorcist, we can watch a Blumhouse blunder. We can do anything, but we'll pick something decent to watch to cleanse both palate.
We'll pick some high art, and we'll come up with some highfalutin interpretations, a la your friend who thinks there's some sort of symbolism in how much blood there is on Simon Pegg's shirt at various points in Shaun of the Dead.
I want to hit that man so much right now. That is absurd.
The thing is, now, if it were a Kubrick film, you might be able to make a case for that, because Kubrick was like every single thing on screen is intentionally put there. Whether there's symbolism in it or not, it's intentional. So maybe if it were a Kubrick movie, you could make that case.
Watch The Shining? Test that theory?
We could do The Shining.
Yeah, the 70s one with Jack Nicholson, not the fucking new series. That one was weird.
Another film I actually saw.
Oh, you actually have watched The Shining, huh? Isn't that some shit? That's the first one.
This is this is going to be a big undertaking, because there's a whole documentary on people's wild interpretations of The Shining.
There is a lot of shit with The Shining of people who have projected their political beliefs all over that movie.
Yeah, that just proves that people have too much time in their hands, and free will's a mistake. But anyways,
was free will a mistake?
Yes.
You were given the free will to not watch Flesheater, and you did, in 2 parts.
And I regret every moment of it. Now take us out. Take us out.
All right. So I'm just going to ask you guys one thing. What one thing did you like from this film? I'll go first. I actually did.
Please, allow me.
I did enjoy the fact that there was a bit more zombie fights in this movie. Like, for example, the cop actually does shoot a few zombies. The hunter does shoot a few zombies. But, they actually are consistent with who is a zombie. Like, certain actors do reappear throughout, and you can tell which ones were picked off, which ones weren't. So it actually was kind of fun watching them actually pay a basic pittance of detail. But they did it, and it was kind of fun watching it. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I could see this as a real... I would see something like this happen in real life, where it starts out as a party thing, doesn't get too bad out in the farms, they shoot these kids, and then they call it a day. So I actually did enjoy like that. There was a bit more action to this piece of crap, but I think they also enjoyed that too, because that's all they focused on, that and titties. So how about you guys? What did you guys think of this one?
Oh, goodness. Ooh. You take this one, Red. I'm blue screening right now.
I think we broke the fish, people. That was it.
Those are my thoughts.
Bolt, come on. Something
You're
positive.
asking for a lot.
No. Hold on. No. In all seriousness, like what I did mention before was the music was actually pretty well placed, and I thought some of the effects were actually rather good. Like in the last scene, we didn't talk about the very last scene very much, but the bodies, the charred bodies in the rubble of the burnt barn, I thought that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good too.
Yeah. I thought, like well made, well acted in little moments, sort of like, little, I don't know if I want to say diamonds in the rough, but they're like I did enjoy little moments of it, but I enjoyed talking about how bad it is with you guys more than watching it. So.
Oh.
Also, the acting. I want to give credit to one other bit of acting that I didn't mention. The guy who was like carrying the girl that first gets bit at the beginning of the movie, and he's sort of like rallying everybody together to try to get try to get help for her. Don't know his name.
Main character.
Yeah. No. I thought that actor did a good job. Like his sense of urgency was genuine in that scene. So good. Yes.
Yeah, I actually thought that guy was legit. Once again, I thought he was going to be main character status, and then they pulled the rug right out under me on that one. He was not main character status. Because he was kind of like taking that role of leading man pretty strong. Like he was kind of like, what's wrong with you? Put her on the table. She needs to be taken care of. We can't shoot her. What's the matter with you? Like it's like, all right, cool. Then he points the gun at the guy like, how do you like having a gun pointed at you? Huh?
Snap out of it, you numbskull! Slap, 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 slap.
Yep.
Pull yourself together, man.
I love that movie. I'm sorry. I've been talking shit about it, but it's a movie that just gives you so much ammo to talk shit with. It does. I can't help it. Bolt, I'm still waiting on your opinion.
I mean, you guys were just gushing over this wonderful film. Oh God! Oh, there's the vomit again. Oh yeah, I know one thing I liked.
Titty, you're an android.
No, I think this movie made me like question whether or not the sexuality that I actually grew up with it was a lie or not, because how does a movie do that? How? Just how? But anyways, one thing I liked about the movie was the nice ironic sense of, oh, these two kids are gonna grow old and die together, and then just run out to open field and just bite it.
What tells you I'm gonna die in the next 5 minutes more than we're gonna travel the world and we're gonna grow old together? But you know what the best part about it was? Their love delivery was so fucking flat. I always did like you. Mom always said maybe I shouldn't, but I really do. Yeah, I like you too. I actually kind of love you. When this is over, I think we should travel the world. Oh, you made me so happy. I want to travel the world. Let's go see Paris together. Yeah, now let's get out there and get some help. Yeah. She walks out and gets shot. I think I unintentionally spit whatever the hell I was drinking when that happened.
And it was her idea to stay in the freaking cellar.
I had one of those moments when I saw her get shot.
See, that's the other rule of surviving a horror film that Scream misses. The rule they should add is never talk about your bright future.
Mm-hmm. Because you will die.
You will. Oh, you'll die like immediately, because that's the whole point.
Oh my god. Okay. I think I've gotten all the laughs out of me with this one. So, this was the illegally shot something that should have stayed buried, but it was unleashed on America and the rest of the world's movie. Night of the... Fuck, I'm not even going to call it Night of the Flesheater. That wasn't even an original idea, Bill Hinsman. That's what fucking George Romero was shooting Night of the Living Dead as. Flesh Eaters. And then you stole that, too. Nothing about this movie was original. Nothing. Nothing. Alright, you know what? I am Pumpkin Jack, and this is the Ghastly Hallows. Fuck Bill Hinsman. Gentlemen.
Alright, this is Red out.
And Bolt flying off far, far away.